removed her. So civil complaint, simply allegations, need to be proven in a court of law, but if true, it could rise to the level of criminality, and we'll see what happens, or if the DA looks and investigates.
It's interesting because obviously this civil suit was coming for a while.
Yep.
And there was some talk between Busby and Jay-Z's lawyers. I think both Busby and Jay-Z's lawyers are really out.
When federal agents executed their raid on Diddy's properties, they weren't expecting to uncover a scandal. But what they found has ignited a chain reaction that has rocked the foundations of Hollywood. Beneath the expected symbols of celebrity wealth, luxurious decor, rare collectibles, and vaults filled with memorabilia, investigators discovered something far more disturbing: a trove of hard drives, tapes, and digital files containing footage that could potentially ruin some of the entertainment industry's most powerful figures. At the heart of this growing controversy? None other than Jay-Z and Beyoncé, the seemingly untouchable power couple, who now find themselves entangled in a scandal so explosive, it could dismantle the pristine image they've spent decades building.
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past.
The allegations surfacing are almost too shocking to believe, yet the whispers began almost immediately. According to reports, agents from Homeland Security uncovered highly sensitive and compromising footage buried within Diddy's private archives. The content is said to involve some of the biggest names in entertainment, captured in scenarios so scandalous, so potentially incriminating, that public exposure could irreparably damage their careers and reputations. Among the most talked about names are Jay-Z and Beyoncé, the Carters, whose involvement is being speculated on in every corner of the industry. Rumors suggest that Diddy, feeling abandoned by the couple during his escalating legal battles, may be ready to expose everything, not just out of desperation, but as an act of retaliation. Insiders claim he's sitting on a vault of damning evidence, receipts that, if released, could shake the entertainment world to its core. Picture this: a private, invite-only gathering hosted by Diddy. The kind of ultra-exclusive affair attended by the elite of music, film, and sports, individuals who've spent years cultivating untouchable brands and billion-dollar legacies. But behind the glamour, beyond the Instagrammable moments and red carpet polish, lies a darker narrative. These weren't just parties, according to allegations. They were carefully orchestrated environments, places where boundaries were blurred, inhibitions vanished, and where every move was quietly documented. The cameras present weren't just there to capture memories, they were, some say, there to collect leverage.
Years.
Mr. Diddy, aka Mr. Love,
Sean Carter.
Insiders now claim that these notorious gatherings, ominously referred to as freak-offs by those in the know, were far more than lavish celebrity get-togethers. They were, in fact, elaborate traps. Attendees believed they were mingling among peers in a secure, private environment. What many didn't realize, or perhaps chose to ignore, was that every glance, every hushed conversation, and every questionable interaction was being discreetly recorded. Now, those recordings are reportedly in the hands of federal authorities, and the implications are staggering. While Diddy's exact motivations remain unclear, one prevailing theory is beginning to surface: this is his way of leveling the playing field. If he's going down, he's determined not to go alone. Sources close to the investigation suggest Diddy may have intentionally surrendered compromising material as part of a last-ditch effort to negotiate more favorable terms in his legal battles. And who better to bring down than Jay-Z and Beyoncé, the so-called golden couple of the entertainment industry? Depending on who you ask, the Carters either quietly distanced themselves when Diddy's legal troubles intensified, or played an active role behind the scenes to undermine him. Either way, the sense of betrayal runs deep. And Diddy's alleged revenge, if true, appears to be as strategic as it is ruthless.
If that's part of the indictment, that's somewhat like a blackmail. He was blackmailing people to be in the freak-offs. So that's federal. That could be that's a federal charge. He can't blackmail people to say, yo, listen here, you did it once and you're gonna do it again. That ain't gonna make it with the government or nobody.
Adding to the mounting chaos is the resurgence of a long-standing, yet largely unresolved, narrative. Jaguar Wright, the outspoken artist and self-proclaimed industry whistleblower, has for years alluded to the darker, more insidious side of Hollywood's elite circles. She has specifically accused Jay-Z and Beyoncé of being not only complicit in, but also beneficiaries of a toxic culture fueled by power, secrecy, and blackmail. Once dismissed as the impassioned claims of a disillusioned insider, Wright's allegations are now being re-examined with renewed urgency, especially as reports suggest that some of Diddy's confiscated recordings may corroborate aspects of her story. But this controversy extends well beyond allegations of wild parties. The emerging picture suggests a deeply embedded network of manipulation, coercion, and exploitation, one that may have operated unchecked for decades. Some of the footage reportedly implicates multiple A-list celebrities in situations that could carry serious legal consequences, not to mention the kind of public disgrace that even the most seasoned PR teams couldn't contain. Through it all, Jay-Z and Beyoncé have maintained an unsettling silence. No statements. No denials. No curated Instagram posts to address the growing speculation. Publicly, they've remained quiet, but behind the scenes, sources say their legal team has been anything but inactive.
As far as, is he going to turn people in? Is he going to cooperate? If the federal government wants him to cooperate, and they're going to cut his time, because right now he's looking at 15 to life. With all the charges he had to, he won't get out till 70 years old. He about 70, that's when they start talking about letting him come to a halfway house.
Beyoncé's legal team has reportedly been working around the clock, aggressively issuing cease and desist letters to media outlets, pressuring platforms to remove interviews, and warning anyone who dares to amplify the more damaging allegations. It's a textbook legal strategy, designed to contain a narrative before it spirals. But in this case, it may have had the opposite effect. Rather than quieting the storm, their efforts have only amplified public interest. Online, the reaction has been explosive. Social media is in overdrive, with fans and critics alike scrutinizing every move, every word, and every calculated moment of silence from the Carters. And the question echoing across the internet is simple: if they're innocent, why aren't they speaking out? Adding to the growing unease is perhaps the most chilling aspect of the unfolding scandal: the reported involvement of minors. While details remain unconfirmed, even the suggestion has sent shockwaves through Hollywood and the broader public. Allegations point to underage individuals being lured, manipulated, and compromised at these alleged parties, a claim that carries the weight of serious criminal consequences. If proven true, these accusations wouldn't just implicate Diddy, they could extend to anyone present who failed to intervene. And if, as some sources allege, the Carters were among those in attendance, their continued silence could be interpreted as something far more troubling than mere PR caution. It could signal complicity.
Sean had to take responsibility for what he did as an individual. Sean is the one who pulled that gun out. Sean is the one who shot. So he has to take responsibility for that.
The federal raid on Diddy's properties has also reignited lingering questions surrounding the tragic and untimely death of Kim Porter, his former partner and the mother of 3 of his children. Before her passing, Porter was reportedly working on a tell-all memoir, one that insiders say could have revealed some of the entertainment industry's darkest, most well-guarded secrets. Those close to her claim she knew too much. Now, with reports suggesting that some of Diddy's recovered footage aligns with the troubling claims Porter had allegedly been preparing to make public, renewed scrutiny has been cast on the circumstances of her death. Was she silenced? And if so, who else might be at risk now that the contents of those tapes may soon see the light of day? Amidst the fallout, Beyoncé's mother, Tina Knowles, has also found herself inadvertently swept into the drama. A recent social media incident, in which Tina appeared to like a comment referencing the allegations against Jay-Z, sent the internet into a frenzy. Though she later stated her account had been hacked, the moment had already gone viral. For many online observers, it was interpreted as yet another crack in the carefully controlled Carter image. And in an era where perception is everything, even the smallest misstep is enough to feed a narrative that their empire may be slowly starting to unravel.
Jay-Z got his put by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You got it. The feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting your whooped.
But perhaps the most devastating blow won't come from social media or the court of public opinion. It may come directly from the legal system. Attorneys representing alleged victims are reportedly preparing to file civil lawsuits, not only naming Diddy but potentially implicating the Carters and other high-profile individuals who attended these now infamous gatherings. If the reported evidence truly exists, this scandal could quickly evolve from tabloid fodder into a full-fledged courtroom battle, one with consequences that extend far beyond reputational damage. As more alleged victims come forward, the tone of the story is rapidly shifting. What began as sensational gossip is taking shape as a broader conversation about systemic abuse, exploitation, and accountability at the highest levels of the entertainment world. And yet, Jay-Z and Beyoncé remain resolutely silent. Their public posture, or lack thereof, appears to be one of calculated restraint. But that silence raises questions. Is it a display of quiet confidence, or a sign of fear? Are they relying on their immense wealth, influence, and legal power to weather the storm? Or are they, as some speculate, bracing for a legal battle so intense and far-reaching that even a single misstep could prove catastrophic?
Are scared of him. I think they more so, they don't want him to embarrass their reputation and things that they've been known for. You understand? I think that.
And this is where the story takes an even more disturbing turn. Whispers are emerging that some of the alleged footage may have already begun leaking onto the dark web. Private forums and underground networks are reportedly buzzing with screenshots and video clips that, if verified, could not only confirm the most shocking accusations, but also make it impossible to contain the fallout. Once these images are out there, no legal maneuver or PR strategy can undo the damage. For the Carters, the stakes have now escalated far beyond courtrooms and press headlines. What's at risk is a legacy built over decades, one rooted in cultural influence, global success, and a carefully cultivated public image. But with each passing day, that legacy appears to be slipping further out of their control. And just when it seems the narrative couldn't get darker, the focus begins to shift, from the celebrities at the center of the scandal to the alleged victims caught in its wake. One particularly harrowing story has already surfaced through legal filings. An alleged victim, whose legal team has submitted a detailed statement, claims she was lured to one of these gatherings under the false pretense of a career opportunity. She believed she had been selected to audition for a music video, an invitation extended by a trusted industry insider with close ties to both Diddy and Jay-Z. But what awaited her was no audition. According to her account, she walked into something far more sinister, a nightmare disguised as an opportunity.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men.
The details are nothing short of chilling. According to one alleged victim's account, the event took place at an opulent Miami mansion, a sprawling estate complete with underground rooms said to be off-limits to most guests. Upon her arrival, she claims she was offered a drink, one she now believes was tampered with. Shortly after consuming it, she began to feel disoriented. She remembers being led into one of the private areas by individuals she recognized from the entertainment industry. However, as her condition worsened, she says their faces became a blur. What happened next is detailed in her legal filing, and while the specifics are too graphic to repeat here, the implications alone have sent tremors through the industry. But this isn't an isolated incident. In the weeks following the federal raid on Diddy's properties, over a dozen similar allegations have surfaced. Many echo the same disturbing themes: exclusive parties, secluded venues, and a recurring cast of high-profile figures. Victims describe being flown in from across the country with promises of stardom, modeling gigs, or music video roles, only to find themselves in environments where their autonomy was systematically stripped away. Legal documents reveal that several of these individuals have provided supporting evidence, including photographs, text message exchanges, and even medical records that corroborate their stories. And while no formal charges have been filed against the Carters, their names continue to surface with unsettling frequency. Their alleged presence at some of these events is now raising difficult and deeply uncomfortable questions that neither their silence nor their legal team have yet to fully address.
In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked."
Meanwhile, attorneys representing the alleged victims are painting a stark picture of a system engineered to shield the powerful at any cost. One lawyer, experienced in handling similar high-profile cases, described the operation as a fortress built on wealth and influence. According to him, those orchestrating these gatherings exercised extreme control over the narrative, swiftly silencing any potential leaks through non-disclosure agreements, intimidation tactics, or worse. With Diddy's tapes now at the center of the investigation, many believe this once impenetrable fortress is beginning to show cracks. These recordings have become the focal point of the entire scandal. Insiders close to the case reveal that the tapes don't just implicate individual celebrities, they expose an entire infrastructure of exploitation. The evidence reportedly shows coordinated efforts to lure attendees, ensure their compliance, and meticulously document every moment for leverage. Law enforcement sources have indicated that some of the footage includes detailed timestamps and metadata, placing specific individuals at precise locations and times, leaving little room for denial. Notably, the Carters' names have surfaced in connection with these timestamps. However, their legal team has strongly denied any involvement or wrongdoing.
I'll start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful in its denial. I just read a teeny part of it, it's long, where he says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point?
Yet, the silence from Jay-Z and Beyonce has been deafening. For a couple who have built an empire on an image of perfection, flawless performances, meticulously curated interviews, and an almost obsessive commitment to privacy, their refusal to publicly address these allegations is becoming increasingly conspicuous. Fans remain deeply divided. Some staunchly defend them, insisting they are victims of a calculated smear campaign, while others demand transparency and answers. Social media is ablaze with speculation. Why won't they speak out? Are they waiting for their legal team to craft a flawless response, or simply hoping the storm will pass if they stay quiet? Either way, their silence speaks volumes to a public increasingly hungry for accountability. Behind the scenes, however, the Carters are reportedly scrambling to manage the crisis. Sources close to the couple reveal they have been holding emergency meetings with legal and public relations teams, exploring every possible strategy to protect their reputation. One insider even suggests they have considered taking legal action against Diddy, accusing him of orchestrating a campaign aimed at tarnishing their names. But such a move carries significant risks. If Diddy truly possesses the kind of evidence rumored to exist, any legal confrontation could force those tapes into the public domain, an exposure the Carters can ill afford.
He, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down.
And then there's the pressing question of who else might be implicated. Reports suggest that the tapes don't only involve the Carters and Diddy, but potentially a wide array of prominent figures across Hollywood and the music industry. Names are quietly circulating behind closed doors, though no one has yet spoken publicly. The atmosphere is thick with tension and fear. Former friends and collaborators of Diddy are distancing themselves rapidly, deleting any trace of association from their social media accounts. Even LeBron James, who has been mentioned in some legal filings as a witness to events at these parties, has remained notably silent, a sharp contrast to his typically outspoken persona. It feels as though the entire industry is holding its breath, anxiously waiting to see who might be named next. But beyond the star-studded names and the scandalous headlines, the implications run far deeper. If these allegations are substantiated, and if the tapes prove as incriminating as insiders suggest, this is not merely a matter of individual reputations being tarnished. It points to a systemic culture of secrecy, manipulation, and exploitation that has long operated behind the dazzling veneer of fame and fortune. The entertainment industry has faced criticism for its lack of accountability for years, but this scandal could mark a turning point. Federal investigators are reportedly preparing to press charges against multiple individuals, signaling that the era of sweeping such issues under the rug may finally be coming to an end.
Of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors. And if true, right, you could pursue it criminally.
So, where do we go from here? Will the Carters finally break their silence, or will they continue to let their legal team handle the narrative? Will Diddy's alleged cache of evidence bring down some of Hollywood's biggest names? Or will it be dismissed as a last-ditch effort by a man with nothing left to lose? Most importantly, what will become of the victims? Will their voices be heard, or will they be overshadowed by the noise of celebrity spin and damage control? We want to hear your thoughts. Share them with us in the comments below, because this story is far from over. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next update.